challenging contracts.
And that's enough.
What a fight. The pursuit of $1 million championship is still alive for you.
Who will survive?
Knockout victory!
An MMA reality competition unlike any other.
Literally anything could happen.
Unbelievable!
This is the 2023 Challenger Series on Fubo Sports.
Welcome back, PFL fight fans, to Orlando, Florida, home of the PFL Challenger Series. We're in week number 5 of 8 straight weeks of Challenger Series action, and the women's flyweights take center stage tonight. What are we here for? Well, we're here to find talent and give out just one PFL contract. If you're not familiar with the format, don't worry. I've got you covered. We've got 4 fights each of our Challenger Series nights, but only one contract to give away. 4 fight winners at the end of the night are all eligible for a contract. The PFL narrows the 4 winners down to 2 finalists. Our celebrity panel weighs in. We'll meet them in just a second. You, the fans at home, have a chance to vote on who deserves a contract, and the winner of that contract will appear in our 2023 PFL season. We're in week number 5, and that means 4 contracts have been given out. The first week, it was Thad Jean, rising welterweight, still undefeated, and now officially part of the PFL roster. From there, it was the women's featherweights, and Amanda Levy, a grappling specialist, said, no, watch what I can do. I will strike my way to a victory. She gets the unanimous decision. She gets the contract. Abraham Babley wasted no time against Hassan Graham. Inside of the first round, he pulled this off. The one and only Abraham Babley, now a PFL heavyweight. And then last week, it was Elvin Espinoza with a submission victory and a lightweight contract here in the PFL. Tonight, it's the women's flyweights in the cage. Women inside the cage, women next to the cage. Our celebrity panel is 2/3 female this week. Megan Anderson, Paige Van Zandt. I'm Sean O'Connell, by the way, the least important of the 3 people on your screen right now. Paige, let's talk about this. This is your weight class, 125 pounds. You fought at the highest level in this weight class. What's it going to take to impress you tonight?
Gosh, you know, this is one of the deepest weight classes there is in women's MMA. And I feel like there's a lot of talent out here in the world. They just don't know their names yet. After doing the research on these female fighters, they're extremely talented. And I think we're going to show the world that the PFL is bringing an amazing division to everybody to see.
Megan, one of the hardest things in the sport of mixed martial arts is to go from the local hero to the big stage, and that's what these women are trying to do tonight. What does this opportunity mean?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that not really anyone so young in their career gets, and this is the stage perfect for each of them to grasp the challenge, get that contract, and make a statement showing that they are the flyweight to beat in PFL.
Gonna have to impress these ladies tonight. Let's take a look at the 4 fights. Again, it's 4 fights on the card and only 1 contract. We'll start with Helen Peralta, Lisa Malden. From there, it's Brazil versus USA, Mayra Mazar, Des Yanez. Shayna Young, very experienced, as is Sandra Lovato. And then in our final fight of the night, it'll be Caitlin Neal and Catherine Corginas. Let's start with the first fight of the night. Helen Peralta, representing Dominican Republic, taking on Lisa Malden. This one promises to be an interesting fight. And Megan Anderson, let's start with Helen Peralta. You're familiar with her style. It is exciting. What do you expect tonight?
Helen Peralta is an absolute bulldozer when she steps into the cage. She is powerful, aggressive, and her forward pressure is insane. She's giving up a bit of a height and reach disadvantage in this particular bout, so it's going to be interesting to see how she can overcome that, get the job done, and earn that PFL contract.
She's very excited for this opportunity, and Helen Peralta is backstage with our very own Kenny Florian. Kenny?
Sean, thank you very much. Helen, you have such an interesting background. You know, college professor, professional chef. How'd you end up being a professional mixed martial artist?
I just found out I really like punching people in the face, and here I get celebrated for that instead of catching some charges.
I like it. You know, you said your style is calculated brawling. How do you go out there and get the win tonight?
Doing exactly that, just going for what is there. I feel like a lot of people focus too much on watching tapes and what their opponent did on previous fight, and what you should really be worried about is what's happening in the moment when you're in there.
You're a very exciting fighter. Can't wait to watch your fight. Sean, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Let's talk about her opponent. Now, as Megan mentioned, she's a little taller, a little longer, has some good striking experience. Is that going to be the key to victory tonight for Lisa Malden?
You know, Lisa is expecting an absolute war. She knows how talented, dangerous, and aggressive her opponent is. She is coming into this also with a record of 4-3. She's a kickboxer, but even though that's where she necessarily calls herself as a kickboxer, she knows she needs to take this fight to the ground to get the victory.
That brings us to our second fight of the evening. Mayra Mazar, Desiree Yanez, Brazil versus USA. All right, Megan, people probably know you do a little commentary on fights. You've seen Mayra fight before, so tell us what we should expect.
Mayra Mazar is such an incredibly talented athlete, and I am so excited to see how she comes up in this particular tournament, taking this fight on short notice, just a week. And she has a lot of experience fighting in those top promotions. She's fought the likes of Weili Zhang, and she seems to just be putting it all together at the moment. So I'm excited to see how she can pull this off and earn that contract.
Her opponent, one of the coolest nicknames we've had here on the Challenger Series, Dirty Des Yanez. Does she have to make this fight a dirty affair?
You know, I don't think she needs to make it dirty. She's got 3 knockouts to her name. Out of her wins, she's got some extremely, extremely powerful striking. Not only that, her emotions this fight week. She said she cried when the PFL gave her that call to have the opportunity to fight for them. She's extremely grateful to her opponent for even taking the fight on short notice, and she wants to put on a show for us.
All right, third fight of the evening. This one actually will take place at a catchweight because Sandra Lovato did not make weight. We'll talk about that in just a second. She takes on Shayna Young. All right, Shayna Young, she did make weight. Shayna's very experienced, fought in high-level promotions before, and she's obviously ready, understood the assignment. Is that an advantage tonight? She made weight.
I believe it is an advantage. Going into this, she obviously came in completely prepared. She made weight as she had to because she's an All-American in wrestling. She knows what it takes to be and compete at the very highest level.
Shayna Young, she's a veteran of some of the elite promotions in the world. She's standing by backstage with Kenny Florian.
Sean, thank you. You know, Shanna, you come from a high-level wrestling background. We've seen so many wrestlers have a lot of success in this sport. Why do you think that's the case?
I mean, wrestling is one of the toughest sports there is, really. I mean, coming up in high school, wrestling with the boys, you know, even I think doing that gave me an advantage. So.
You also have a lot of high-level MMA experience, but you said you wanted to kind of change things up, your mental approach for this fight. What is that mindset?
Yeah, going into this one, I really have the mindset that, you know, after years and years of doing the sport, it kind of becomes a game. It becomes a lot more like work, and so it's just, I just want to get back to the reason that I started, and, you know, that's because I love the sport. I love to do this. I love to get in the cage. You know, as amateurs, we get in there and we fight for free. So that's a mental state that I really just want to get back to doing this because I love this game. I love the sport. And I just love being in there.
Shannon, we're looking forward to it. Awesome. Thank you. Sean, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Now, the elephant in the room is Lovato didn't make weight. The whole point of being here is to impress the celebrity panel, the fans at home. Is she starting, you know, behind the 8 ball because of that?
100%. And the fact that she's the most experienced fighter coming in tonight, and she also missed weight, huge question coming into this particular bout. But she is such a methodical fighter. She is a bit of a slow starter, but once she finds her timing, her range, and she makes her reach, she is so incredibly hard to deal with, and she has a ton of power. But she's going to have to go to a huge fact that she's missed weight, that she's going to have to make up for that by putting on an absolutely insane performance.
Kenny Florian is backstage with his fellow Peruvian.
Sean, thank you. You know, Sandra, you weren't able to make weight. What happened and how are you feeling right now?
Ayer tuviste un problema bajando de peso. ¿Qué pasó?
Sí, fue primero pedir disculpas por ello. Nunca me había pasado, en verdad es la primera vez que no cumplo con el peso. Me siento mal porque para mí es una falta de respeto hacia mi rival y hacia todos en general, la organización sobre todo, ¿no? Por eso no tengo excusas para ello, fue una irresponsabilidad mía.
First, I'd like to apologize to my opponent or the organization. You know, it's a sign of disrespect to not be able to make weight, and I take full responsibility.
Sandra, you're the first person from Peru to represent that country. What does that mean for you?
Eres la primera peleadora representando a Perú aquí en PFL. ¿Qué significa eso para ti?
Para mí es muy importante. Desde que he comenzado esta carrera tengo bien claro a dónde quiero llegar y sobre todo poder representar bien a mi país. Me emociona mucho hacerlo y siempre quiero dejar el Perú bien en alto.
So since I began my career, I always wanted to take it to the highest levels, and representing Peru is, you know, exactly what I want to do, being a good representative.
Sandra, good luck. Thank you. Sean, back to you.
That brings us to the final bout, the main event of the evening. Caitlin Neal, Catherine Corginas, 3 5-minute rounds at 125 pounds. Now, both of these women have really interesting stories that brought them to the sport of mixed martial arts. We'll start with Caitlin Neal. Here's how she found the sport.
So I grew up doing dance, gymnastics, and cheerleading. I was captain my senior year of high school. My team took nationals every year. We were doing awesome. And then I went and tried out for the college team, and I didn't make it. And I was like, what the heck? I'm like, what am I going to do with my life now? So I was thinking I was going to start doing CrossFit or bodybuilding because I wanted to stay competitive. Then my friends took me to some mixed martial arts fights, just some local fights. And there was one women fight on the card, and after watching that, I was like, I'm gonna do that. So then I found a gym, signed up, started training, and it's been 11 years ever since that. So I was raised Mormon, and when I started fighting, that was not a typical thing for a girl who was Mormon to start doing. So my family raised some eyebrows. They kind of thought I was just doing some cardio kickboxing classes, but then once I told them, like, no, I'm actually fighting and got in the cage, they were 100% supportive. One of my main reasons I love fighting is because I'm doing this crazy out of the norm thing. I'm chasing this huge goal that's kind of wild for a girl out of Utah County to be doing. So I hope other women can watch me chase my goals and chase my dreams and hopefully inspire them to chase their goals and their dreams no matter how crazy they may seem.
So you could see a pretty unlikely path for Caitlin Neal to get to this point, and her opponent, Catherine Corginas, has a similar story. An unlikely background, to say the least, for a mixed martial artist.
My path to MMA has been a unique one, to say the least. I was fortunate enough to go to University of Pennsylvania after, you know, working hard in school. My mom really dedicated herself to getting me kind of out of where we were from in Philadelphia. So school's always been very important to me. Thus, I went into getting my doctorate, but not just any PhD, evolutionary anthropology, which actually had me working in Africa with chimpanzees. So Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, following mothers and infants, really roughing it, you know? But I started burning out with the bureaucracy of academia. Getting back to office life wasn't for me. I took a short holiday to Thailand where my friend was a jiu-jitsu coach, and I just immediately fell in love. It was something that just called to me. So I packed up my stuff. I said I was gonna take a sabbatical before my dissertation. Ended up 5 years later, here we are. PFL, baby.
All right. Megan, let's start with Caitlin Neal. We are a long way from the cheerleading circuit. What does she need to do tonight to get that contract?
Well, Caitlin Neal is a lengthy striker, and that is going to prove advantageous for her tonight. She is high pace, high volume, got a ton of power. And she knows her opponent wants to take this fight to the ground, so she can pick her apart. She can put on an amazing performance, showcase her skills, and see if she can get that PFL contract.
Catherine Corginas, Ivy League background, PhD candidate. Does she need to fight smart tonight?
Gosh, you know, can we talk about an impressive woman, extremely intelligent. Beyond that, she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. Her only loss was to an extremely talented PFL fighter. So for her, she really just needs to stick to her game plan. Her plan is to take it to the ground and utilize what she's really, really good at.
That promises to be a very interesting contest in our main event tonight. We've talked about all of these fights, and Ray Sefo is in the building, which means We get the fighters to the scales next when the weigh-ins continue on Fubo Sports.
Get ready. In the Air Force Reserve, you are not half in, half out. You're all in as an airman, and all in as you. All the benefits, all the education, and the freedom to be in charge of your own life. If you're ready to do for yourself what you can do for your country, you might just be ready for the Air Force Reserve.
The Hook and Ladder has been a Firehouse original since day one. It's piled high with honey ham, smoked turkey, and melted Monterey Jack. To top it off, a portion of every purchase helps provide life-saving equipment to first responders across the country. So at Firehouse Subs, we don't just make subs, we make subs that are big, bold, and craveable. We make our subs differently because our subs make a difference. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives.
The PFL on Fubo Sports is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Just for men, one-day beard and brow color. United States Air Force Reserve. When you're ready for more, go to afreserve.com. And by Celsius. Live Fit, the official energy drink of the PFL. All right, welcome back to the PFL Challenger Series weigh-ins. Time to get our fighters on the scale. Helen Peralta and Lisa Malden will be first. President of Fighter Operations Ray Sefo is on stage in position, and that means we are ready to go. First to the scale out of the blue corner, Lisa Malden. Official weight for Malden, 125 and a quarter. And her opponent fighting out of the red corner, Helen Peralta. Official weight for Peralta, 125 and 1/2 pounds. Up next, a little Brazil versus USA action. Mayra Mazar, Desiree Yanez. Fighting first out of the blue corner, Des Yanez. Official weight, 125 and 3/4 pounds for Dirty Des. Next to the scale out of the red corner, Mayra Mazar. Official weight, 126 pounds. All right, 2 of our 4 fights weighed in and official. When we return, 2 more fights.
You pour everything you've got into everything you do, and you never accept excuses. Every punch you throw, every stride you make, every chance you take, in the ring or in life, this is how you take your shot. An authentic 90 proof Kentucky bourbon that stands out from the crowd. Puncher's Chance Bourbon. Take your shot.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
Welcome back, fight fans. PFL Challenger Series Week 5. Weigh-ins continue. A catchweight bout for our third of the evening. Shayna Young, Sandra Lovato. Next to the scale, Sandra Lovato. Official weight 127.5 pounds, making this bout a catchweight. And out of the red corner, Shayna Young. Official weight 126 pounds. And our main event, final bout of the evening, will be Caitlin Neal versus Catherine Corginas. Next to the scale, out of the blue corner, Catherine Corginas. Official weight 125 pounds. And out of the red corner, Caitlin Neal. Official weight for Neal, 125.5 pounds. Everybody weighed in, ready to go. Some final thoughts when the weigh-ins return on Fubo Sports.
The following transformation is real, but temporary. Now any guy can temporarily cover grays, fill in thin, patchy areas, and create a fuller, defined look for beard and brows. New, just for men, One Day Beard and Brow. Breakthrough color that stays put for the day till you wash it out. Transform your look. New, just for men, One Day Beard and Brow color.
The PFL on Fubo Sports has been brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Just for men, One Day Beard and Brow color. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. And by Celsius. Live Fit, the official energy drink of the PFL. Welcome back, PFL Challenger Series on Fubo Sports. This is the weigh-ins for Week 5. That's right, 5 of 8 straight weeks here in Orlando, Florida. Welterweights, we already gave out a contract to Thad Jean. Women's featherweights, it was Amanda Levy. Heavyweights, Abraham Babley took home the contract. Elvin Espinosa, still undefeated, is now a lightweight on the PFL roster. We'll find out who the women's flyweight contract winner is tonight, and after that it'll be featherweights. Everyone's favorite weight class, the light heavyweights, coming up March 10th, and then second chance opportunities on March 17th. Sean O'Connell, Megan Anderson, Paige Van Zandt, and look, it's about earning a contract tonight. It's not just about beating your opponent, which is unique in the sport of mixed martial arts. So, Paige, you have one part of that vote from the celebrity panel. What do these women need to do to really impress you?
You know, truly, it is so much more than just winning. You have to go out there and you have to perform. It's not just fighting to win, it's fighting to get a contract. And only one contract is handed out. So not only do they need to be impressive, but they need to fight to finish in every second of every round.
So there's pressure on every fight. This is a very difficult sport as it is. And now you don't just have to beat the woman in front of you, you have to beat 7 other women on the card. Is that too much pressure?
For the right person, that's not going to be enough pressure because they're going to step up, handle business, and showcase why they are the flyweight here at PFL. But what I'm really interested to see is who doesn't let those nerves get to them, who puts on a show, puts it all on the line, and really just showcases why that they are deserving of this contract and a chance to potentially earn $1 million contract.
Well, here's the other thing. Women's flyweight, this is a new division for the PFL. So if you could prove yourself tonight, you're potentially one of the cornerstones of this women's flyweight roster moving forward alongside folks like Dakota Ditcheva, who will be participating in PFL Europe. A lot on the line in Challenger Series action. The weigh-ins are in the books. We'll return here on Fubo Sports. First fight at 9 p.m. Eastern. 4 fights, 1 contract. Be there with us for more Challenger Series action. It's Fubo Sports.